Shalom. This your host, Selah Shalom, and this is a Cosmon Teachings in the words of Jehovah and his angel ambassadors from the Cosmon Bible of WASPI. And the topic of discussion today is called The Days of Darkness. Now, there are rumors going around about the earth being in darkness for 3 days, which is supposed to happen during the winter solstice. This may seem frightening to people, but it is nothing new if you're familiar with history, because these things took place in the past. In the Bible, during the crucifixion around 33 AD, from the 6th hour to the 9th hour, there was great darkness. And in 358 AD, there was an earthquake at Nicomedia, and there was darkness for 2 to 3 hours. In 409 AD, when Alaric appeared before Rome, there was so great a darkness that the stars were seen by day. In the 2nd year of Justinian II, there appeared a flame of fire in the heavens near the North Pole, and it remained there for a whole year. Darkness was cast over the world from 3 o'clock until night, so that nothing could be seen, and something resembling dust and ashes fell down from the sky. In 733 AD, 1 year after the Arabs had been driven back across the Pyrenees after the Battle of Tours, the sun was so much dark on the 19th of August as to excite universal terror. In 1091 AD, on the 21st of September, the sun was darkened for 3 hours, and when the obscuration had ceased, the sun's disk still retained a peculiar color. In 1206 AD, on the last day of February, there was, according to Joaquin de Villalba, complete darkness for 6 hours, turning the day into night. This was succeeded by long, continued, and abundant rains. These are just a couple events in history to show how the earth was in darkness. But in Owaspia, it speaks of the earth being in darkness for 12 days and as long as 3,000 years. Yes, 3,000 years of darkness. That alone is hard to fathom, but in the past it happened. And I will read the verses where it mentioned that later. Now, Book of Thor, son of Jehovah, chapter 6, verse 11 and 13, it states, "Now the time of Thor is the 20th arc cycle after the creation of mortals, and the length of the 20th arc cycle was from around 14,000 BC to around 10,000 BC, which from this time today would be around 17,000 years to 12,000 years ago." Now, verse 11, Jehovah speaks, "I have prepared places of darkness in the Etherian firmament and places of light, and my corporeal worlds must travel through them, for so I created them. And these places of darkness and places of light are as changes of seasons for my harvest." So here Jehovah is explaining systematically how these times of light and times of darkness are based off seasons. So these are not events that will happen by random, but purpose. Verse 13, "Thus went the earth into great darkness during the last 600 years of the cycle of Thor, and there was no harvest from her for the Etherian heavens. But the spirits deserted Atmospheria in millions and millions and went down to the earth to dwell with mortals and to find places of corporeal earth where to live." So here it shows you how the last 600 years of the cycle of Thor, the earth was in great darkness. So these times of darkness took place in the ancient past. And when these times of darkness come, it affects the behavior of mortals on earth and angels in atmosphere or heaven belonging to the earth. Now, Book of Divinity, chapter 17, verse 2, it speaks of 12 days of darkness. This period is during the 21st arc cycle after the creation of mortals, around 7,000 BC to around 4,000 BC, the time of the 21st arc cycle. Verse 2, "In the last month of the last year of Ajah, even while God, Jehovah's Son, and his lords and sub-gods were proud of heart that they could carry the earth and her heavens through safely, they met sore trials. This then is what happened. A comet came within the earth's vortex and was drawn in, even as floating drift is drawn within a whirlpool in a river. The substance of the comet was condensed and fell on the earth in mist and dust and ashes, and the earth and the heavens above the earth were in darkness 12 days. And the darkness was so great that a man could not see his hand before him. So here Owaspi reveals that a comet hit the earth and caused 12 days of darkness because of the impact of the comet. So here it is showing you these things really took place in the past and can happen today. Now, God's Book of Ben, Plate 38. This verse explains the earth was in darkness for 3,000 years. And this darkness of 3,000 years took place during the age of Simu, which is the time of creation prior to mortals being created, and even at the time of mortals' creation. Jehovah saith, in the time of Simu, I brought forth the earth into Ajah and Jaya, and darkness was upon the face of the earth for the space of 3,000 years. And yet for other 3,000 years hath darkness covered all the land and water. So here it gives you a total of 6,000 years the earth was in darkness and semi-darkness. And it was during these times of darkness and semi-darkness that the living were created, including mortals. As it states, behold, O man, as I have given to females a time to bring forth their young, so gave I to the earth a time for conception of the living species on the land and in the water and in the air above. And I call the time the era of Simu. Now, as I stated in past vids, that the earth goes through 4 ages, being 144,000 years in age. Now back to the verse. And it came to pass when the earth was in the midst of Taza. Taza is an Etherian firmament that the earth was passing through at this particular time. There fell upon the earth for a space of equal to 12 days condensed nebula in dust and stones and water, combined sufficient in some places to cover up the forest Jehovah had created. And that which fell was hot like molten iron, and the trees and the forests of the valleys were beaten down, and covered up, and burnt to blackness. Jehovah said, and these shall remain on the earth, for in the time that followeth, man shall seek the coal, not knowing whence it came. And it will bear witness of the regions of Ajah and Jaya in the firmament of heaven. So here Jehovah reveals that the coal fields and the molten fires that exist beneath volcanoes came from the heavens above, while we believe it is produced from the earth beneath. But here in Owaspi it states that these things fell from the heavens to the earth as condensed nebula of dust, stone, and water combined, mixed with molten iron. For 12 days these raw materials fell, and as it states, man will seek in later days to know whence came the coal beds and the volcanoes, thinking it is from beneath the earth, not knowing it fell to the earth. And today scientists do not understand the origin of volcanoes, while in Owaspi it reveals the answer. Even in the Bible it speaks of fire and brimstone falling from the heavens, but in truth it is no different than a rainstorm or a snowstorm. At certain appointed times Jehovah rains down molten iron from the heavens, not as a sign of judgment, but as a sign of his cycles and seasons and times and changes on earth and the heavens. And with that, I'd like to say peace and blessings and catch you on the next documentary. Shalom.